Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome to our coffee times. Today, after presenting you with my goals for 2020, my last video, we have the wrap up of the month of December to finish and finally leave behind 2020.
It's coffee time.
So in the month of December, actually, I was hoping to read a little bit more since I was gonna have some holidays, but unfortunately the last 2 weeks I did not have much time for reading, which is perfectly fine because it's time that I had spent with my boyfriend and his parents, which was also very much needed. So I ended up reading a total of 10 things, and honestly, that is a-okay. Normally for me, from 8 to 10 is what I tend to read every month. So I'm going to be telling you all the things about these books, the ones that I enjoyed, the ones that were kind of like a letdown. And we like to rate books in this channel with coffee mugs. So before we go to our rating, if you love books and you love horror, please consider subscribing to the channel and also hit the notification bell before you leave so you don't miss any more coffee times. The first book for the wrap up and the one that got the lowest rating is Royal Wedding by Jasmine Guillory. And this I just added last minute because normally around Christmas I do like to read one Christmas romance, and I saw this one available for my Kindle and I had heard good things about the previous books by the author. But unfortunately, this one ended up being kind of bland, so I only gave it 2 coffee mugs. Now, there were things that I really appreciated about this book. You know, it was a quick read, and I like that our main character is a woman over 50 years old, which is not something that it's always on romances. You know, they tend to be younger, so I kind of appreciated that representation. And in this case, it's a 50-year-old Black woman, and I was really intrigued to get to know her story. However, I felt like the whole relationship was really kind of brushed over, and there was a missing feeling of really Christmas. Also, it felt kind of superficial, the whole thing. It didn't feel like they really had this connection. I had a problem with the whole thing. I kind of, you know, just enjoyed it for what it was, and I did finish it, but unfortunately it was not up to my expectations. I am still gonna give a try to this author again if I come across another one of her novels. The book was, you know, I really enjoyed the writing. It was just a story that just didn't click with me. Now I'm going to break the heart of 2 of my good friends and I'm so sorry. I really wanted to love this book so that I could talk about it with my friends, but I just didn't love it. And that is The Holo Places by T. Kingfisher. Now, at the beginning of the book, I was actually really enjoying it, and I thought, this is gonna be good, this is gonna be good. My friends were right, it's funny, it's kind of interesting, and I'm invested. I like these characters. I really enjoyed the main characters. It's one of the things that I actually did enjoy about the book. However, that humor that I was enjoying at the beginning started to get repetitive and boring, and so did the story for me. Like, everything that was happening, I felt like we were going in circles all the time, and I was not having a good time. I think I finished this book because it was recommended by my friends. I think if not, I would have DNF'd it. Like, I'm so sorry. It's like, imagine one of your good friends recommends you a book and be like, you're gonna love it, it's absolutely great, and then you're like super excited so that you can talk about it with your friends, and then you don't like it. And it's like, I'm sorry. But you know, I gotta be honest, I did not enjoy it, and I'm kind of now questioning if I want to pick up The Twisted Ones or not, which is the previous book by the author. So let me know down below if you've read both, if it is completely different. The thing is, I really enjoyed both characters. That was one of my favorite things. The 2 main characters, I think that they made such a wonderful couple, and I felt so bad that I didn't enjoy this book as much as I wanted, because in this book, I've completely forgot to tell you what it's about because I'm just like so sad. I didn't like it. So it is about this woman that after a divorce. She's in her 30s and she has to move with her uncle to live with him in his museum of kind of oddities and curiosities. And when he falls ill, then she has to kind of take over and organize things at the museum. And one day she realizes that there is a hole in the wall, and she crosses and ends up in a complete new different world, and that world seems to be very dangerous. So that's kind of like how our story starts. And I was really excited because this is something that to me sounded like a book that I would really enjoy, but for the reasons mentioned before, it just fell flat for me. So yeah, sadly, this was not a great book for me. Next we have The Green and the Black by William Makel, and I read this novella on my Kindle. This is perfect for people that really enjoy super slow pace, kind of atmospheric stories, fantastic ghost stories, and I enjoyed it, but at some point I think it was a little bit too slow paced for me, so I ended up giving it only a 3 coffee mug rating. We are following an expedition that is going to investigate a mine, and the story is told from 2 different timelines. One is the group of guys that are currently at the mine investigating, and the other story is told through a diary that they find of somebody that used to work on that mine a long time ago. And this book was great for people that really love like folklore kind of horror stories, but like it was, I think, a little bit too slow paced for me. And even though I was enjoying the bunch of different characters that we got, and it was interesting, especially through the diary, to discover what happened in the mine and everything, I think it was a little bit too slow for my taste. The next one is another novella that I read, which is called The Visitor by Sergio Gomez, and this one I gave 3.5 coffee mugs. I really enjoyed it. This was a book that was not perfect, but I thought it was a great, fun, super fast story about Christmas, because it has, I believe, only 95 pages, so it is perfect just to binge around Christmas. And it follows a group of strangers that during a snow blizzard have been kind of locked in this diner, and then something happens and they receive the visit of somebody from outer space, as you can tell by the title and the cover. This book was just fun. It was not perfect, but it's interesting how in only 95 pages I really got to know the characters like this quick, and other books with 400 pages don't let me really get to know the characters. So, you know, even though it was not perfect, and of course I would have wished that it would have been a bit longer, I was completely satisfied with the story. It was gory, it was entertaining, it was fun, and I think that's what, you know, this novella wanted to be. The good news is the rest of the books that I read in December are all 4 coffee mugs or up, which is great. And the first one with 4 coffee mug rating is Final Girls by Riley Sager. I really enjoyed this one. We are following here your typical trope of horror movies in which after a massacre there is one girl that has survived and that is considered a final girl, but just in this case we are following real life final girls. So there are 3 girls that are being connected in this book, and all 3 of them survived a massacre in which everybody was killed except them. So our main character is Quinn. She is the sole survivor of a massacre that took place years ago, and she is trying to move on with her life and still traumatized by what happened to her. So she has what it's called suppressed memory, like she doesn't remember exactly what happened that night because it was such a big trauma for her. And the way that she has found she can move on with her life is by opening a bakery. Basically by baking, she feels like she has the control when she's baking, and that is helping her to cope with what happened to her. So I absolutely love that about the character, and you connect with her immediately. The book is told from jumping back and forth in time. It's kind of slowly revealing what really happened to Queen that night, and also following her in the present time. Absolutely love this book. I really enjoyed it. I think, you know, at some point you kind of know the twist, but until the very end I still had my suspicions in like 2 people or so. So it's not like super obvious what's gonna be the ending. I will always recommend you to pick anything by Riley Sager because all the books that I have picked by him so far have not disappointed. Next, I have a book that it's perfect for people that absolutely love winter atmospheric classic ghost stories. This is such a treat for people that love those type of books. I ended up giving this one also for coffee mugs, and that is The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. And I picked this one up last minute because I wanted to read more winter horror books. I was like in the mood for that in December. And I really enjoyed this one. This is a story that is being told from the perspective, from the eyes of 3 different women that are connected through time, and all of them are connected to the same kind of cabin where they live. And I absolutely love to follow their stories in the different timelines, and it is done in a way that it's very easy to follow and to comprehend. And their stories were so different, but they were connected, and the author did such a good job at the end to slowly connect all of the stories and reveal what was really happening. And this was such a classic, well done, well written, atmospheric ghost story. I really enjoyed it. The next one that also got 4 coffee mugs, and it could have got a higher rating, but I think I went into the book expecting a slasher, like a classic slasher, and that is not what the book was. However, it was so unique that I really enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it to you guys, and that is Secret Santa by Andrew Sheffer. And this book was a ride. It is kind of comedy combined with horror, as I was expecting, and we are following here the story of Lucy, which I'm imagining it might be short for Lucifer, kind of like a hint to that from the author. And she starts a new job at a publishing company, and basically she's given the task of finding the manuscript of the next Stephen King. There are so many references for people that love horror in the book that I really enjoyed those as well. And so when she gets into this new company and starts working there, she realizes that, you know, people in the company are having accidents, something's happening there, people are getting hurt, and she starts investigating. And as it tends to happen when you start snooping around, you're gonna put yourself in a dangerous position. So that's exactly what happened to Lucy, and I just loved it. It was a lot of fun to follow her and all the craziness that this book was. The thing that I was missing from this book were more Christmas references, because this book is supposed to be set around Christmas. I mean, excuse me. And there were not enough things really connecting, you know, the story with Christmas, and I didn't always have the feeling that it was a Christmas story, you know what I mean? So I kind of wish they would have made it more Christmas atmospheric in a way. But apart from that, the story was really unique, entertaining. It's nothing like you expect it to be, let me tell you that. But I absolutely loved it, and definitely gonna check more things from the author because I love this book. The next one with 4 coffee mugs is The Other People by C.J. Tudor. I think so far from her 3 books, this is the one that I have enjoyed the most. I think I have learned to understand that in her thrillers, you're not in it for a jaw-dropping moment at the end with a huge reveal or a huge twist. I think, you know, what I really enjoy and what she does with her thrillers is she creates these intricate, amazing stories and these characters that you just have to love. I love her writing. So my problem was always that when I got to the ending of her books, I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't have like this huge reveal or this huge twist, because it is a thriller. But I have learned to love her books for what they are. They are extremely well written stories, and I really enjoy them, even though I do see the ending twist or the end twist coming, and she sometimes reveals things a little bit too early for a thriller. But I'm starting to realize that that is her style, and I enjoy it. But anyways, in this book we're following the story of a father that is not giving up when it comes to finding his daughter. People have told him to stop, people have told him to accept reality, but he is determined to find her, and he starts his own investigation investigation, and the more he gets into discovering things from the day where the daughter was taken, the more that he realizes that he's really getting into something way darker and he needs to be careful. So that's all I'm gonna tell you, because I don't want to spoil anything about those twists. There are twists in the stories of C.J. Tudor. The thing is, they are being slowly revealed throughout the book, so when you get to the ending, I guess you're just missing that last punch. But this story was so great. I absolutely loved it. I loved the characters, and I loved this father looking for his daughter. And this so far, like I said, has been one of my favorites by her. Next, and with 4.5 coffee mugs, I have a book that is going to break you, and that is Bear Town by Frederick Backman. I finally read this book. Trigger warnings here for rape, victim blaming, and homophobia. So when you start the book, you follow the lives of different characters that live in the small town of Bear Town, and this is a town that is basically everything about hockey, and there is so much pressure being put into young boys to be good at hockey, and you follow different characters and how they feel, how they treat each other, and it is a very slow-paced book, but the way this book is written is so beautiful. The writing in this book is amazing. It's one of the best parts of the book, and while you're uncovering their stories, it's kind of like a just sit down, you know, lay down, relax, enjoy their stories, and then at some point in the book, when you don't see it really coming, it just slaps you in the face and just slaps you with all the feels, and it's too late. You're done, you're invested, your heart is broken and you don't know what to do with your emotions. I absolutely love this book. I was a little bit scared at the beginning because it is heavily based on the game of hockey, and I'm somebody that I don't really like sports. I don't like watching sports. I mean, I like, you know, doing sports, but not watching them, or, you know, this kind of team sport thing is not really mine. And, you know, it doesn't matter for this book. So if you're somebody that doesn't like sports, you can still read this and absolutely love it like I did. I did pick up the second book, and I'm ready to read it this year and get broken again. But if you're looking for something better written with better characters than the book 13 Reasons Why, an adult version of it, maybe check this one out. And the last book that I would like to talk about is actually a reread for me. I wanted to reread it this Christmas so that I could binge the show, and that is Nosferatu by Joe Hill. I gave it 5 coffee mugs for obvious reasons. Love this book, and it's such an amazing Christmas read. We are following the character of Charles Manx, and he rides an 80s Rolls Royce, and he thinks the best thing he can do to save children from abusive parents or bad situations is take them, rescue them, and take them to Christmas land. But is it really rescue them? What is he really doing with the children? You will get to find out in this book. You follow here a couple of children. You follow here the story of a mother trying to catch Charles Max, and this is such a wild ride. It is a big book, okay? It's a big boy. It's nearly 700 pages long, but it is so much fun to read. I love the humor in this book. It has to be something for you because it is a very particular type of humor, but I absolutely adored it. The editing on the book and the way that the story was put together was just chef's kiss. And the character development is amazing in this book. So if you're looking for a great Christmas story, definitely pick this one up. I know it's a big boy, but it's definitely worth it. Alright guys, so these are all the books that I read in the month of December. It is a total of 10 books, but I do have a couple of novellas or shorter books. So not my best reading month, but I am super happy with my reading for the month of December because I did end up enjoying most of the things that I read. Let me know down below, what did you read in the month of December? Did you also pick up books that had to do with Christmas or winter? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Please give the video a big thumbs up to support the channel. If you want to follow me on other social media, as always, the links are down below, and I hope to see you in the next coffee time. Bye.